Hi, this is kind of a voice reveal moment. So hi, but this is going to be a tutorial on how to make pipes or tubes or whatever you want to call them. They're just I guess you would call them a Bezier curve. And curves are really easy to do in Blender. But first and foremost, I have two screens right now, or like two Blender windows. But what you're gonna want to do is go down to the corner and then pull up. It depends on which side you go on. So just like find the right side, but pull up, and then you're gonna want to scroll over here. I should probably mention before too, I'm using Blender 4.1 because it's updated and overall looks different from the other versions. So in case you see something that doesn't look the same on your screen, that's why, because the interface is very different. So you should probably get Blender 4.1 before starting, which I'll have linked down in the description. But yeah, you're gonna want to go here into this little icon in the corner. It looks like a ball on a kind of like hashtag looking thing. You click it, like you left click it, and then you go down until you see shader editor, and you click that, and it'll look like this for you. Maybe it's gonna look like this because you're on an object. Let me hide this. Let me start from the beginning. But it's gonna look like object. And so you're gonna want to go here and click world, and you won't have these, just by the way. It'll look like this, and you're gonna want to go over here and hold shift or shift, and then click A on your keyboard, and then left click search and search environment, and it should come up environment texture, and it'll like appear in your cursor. And then you drag color to color where it says background, and it'll look magenta, but that's because the texture is missing. Now you press open, and I'm just gonna go to my skyboxes, and I have many to choose from. You might not have any, or you might have some. It doesn't matter what specific skybox you use, but all that matters is that it has, I guess, the lighting you want for the scene. So I'm gonna do 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 scene. I have it set to 0.5 strength, just because I have other lights as well in the scene. So if you turn it to 0, it doesn't happen at all. If it's 1, it's stronger. But 0.5 to me is like the right strength. And then that's all you need to do for the HDRI. But moving forward, you click this and then go back to object. And I already have a material set up for the glass pipe, but to make the actual pipe, you do the same thing here. You do Shift A, and then you go to curve. Ignore these extra ones. You're gonna want, I believe it's just path. And then shortcuts. See, this is shortcuts, but you don't need to know shortcuts. I think you can just, yeah, use these, the move tool. So I'll leave that for another day. But yeah, just use, I don't know how to use the move tool. I've been using shortcuts for a long time, but yeah, just move it up how you usually would. Oh, that's why. I didn't have it selected. So move it up. And then go into edit mode by going up here and clicking edit mode. For me, I hold down tab. I don't know if it's the same for you. My key bindings are different. And then when you drag it up, you're going to want to press Z to lock it on the Z axis, which is usually up and down. And pull it down, and then you I think it should be left click for you. It's right click for me because I have my key bindings like I said before. But you click on this one, hold shift and click this one, and then you press Z, or no, S, sorry. You press S and then X, and then you drag inwards, and then you press A to select everything, and then you have to set the spline type to Bezier. Or actually, hold on. This is my first time making a tutorial, just kind of stay with me for a second. But you press W, then you press subdivide, and then you press, you do W again, and then you do Bezier, and then set handle type right underneath it. Set handle type aligned, and then you rotate this with R. Then you just rotate it. The shortcut is R, and then you press S, and then you scale it down so it's a point. And then with this, you rotate it. Actually, don't rotate it. You shrink it down, and then G, and then X. G is the move, move shortcut, and then same with this. S, scale it down. G, X, pull it in, and then basically E to extrude. It's kind of hard to see with this background, but E is to extrude. I just pressed 1 on my numpad. You might not have a numpad depending on your PC, but it's 1 on my numpad. But it just brings me the front view. And then you can rotate this and then drag it out like this to make it kind of rounder. You just want to form the shape of a heart, mostly. So whatever looks like a heart. And I try to use as little points as possible, because you can do something like this where you stretch it so the size is much longer, and it'll kind of like make things rounder instead of like weird like this looks like. This is just a tutorial, so you can probably like focus on it for longer than I am, but then you do E again to extrude. And then just like play around with it. It's very, very easy to do. I'm gonna do this. Add a little, woo, you know. And just, it's like that. And then once you have that, it's just a line, right? It's just a line. And what you want to do is go to this menu. When you click on the curve, a little menu is going to show up that's not usually on anything else. It's kind of like this, but it looks like a line with 2 points on it. Scroll down until you see bevel, and then depth, and you just drag that up. You can make it fat or you can make it thin. I like to make it kind of like around this area. And if you see any mistakes like here, I don't really like how that looks, so I do something like this sometimes, just to make it less overlapped, but it's probably not going to change that much. But yeah, and then fix things like that. And this is how you make tubes, basically. But it's not the finished product. I'm just gonna move it into place. But move it into place however you move it into place. But the key bindings for moving is G, like I said before. Then R is rotate. If you want to free rotate though, you press R twice, and it lets you do that. And if the origin, this little orange dot is the origin, goes out of place, you're in object mode. You have it selected. You press W. Set origin to geometry, and it should make it a little easier to control. And you can even resize it if you want. I have my render preview on the side, so I'm kind of using that as reference. But I think I might resize this a little bit and then move this down. Kind of looking at this and moving it accordingly. And let's say I want it to just kind of twist. This doesn't always work, but I could hit Y and then Y again to change the angle. It doesn't always work, so it's not guaranteed. But yeah, like maybe I want it to be behind, you know. So that's how you add to the scene. Check if it looks how you want it to look. And then come here and press this checkered sphere. It should be under the curve thing. And then press new over here. And then go back to the shader nodes like I explained before. And then click this. You can left click or right click it. Delete it. You don't need it. And then hold shift and A. You hit A once. Then search for glass. Put it in like the HDRI we did earlier. But this is on object, keep in mind. Not world, it's object. And then drag this into surface, not volume, surface. And already it's looking very spicy, if I do say so myself. It's very pretty. To make it smoother, you go to the wrench, add modifier, and if you're in 4.1, you can just hit search and it'll show up because it's probably like most used. You don't like to save your PC memory or from freaking out. You can keep this at 0, because the more levels you have, even in render, with viewport, it's how many you see now, but in render, it's after it's rendered. So you don't need to see like the smoothness in the viewport, but for the render, do 4, because that's like very smooth and it's going to come out really nice. And even like here, there's some distortion. It's probably going to go away. So it doesn't really matter which specific quote unquote distribution it says that you use. In the long run, if you want to go into like more effects, probably it probably does matter, but you can just keep it at the default. The roughness is kind of like clear glass versus kind of like a shower door type of foggy glass. Sometimes it can look cool, other times it's not what you're looking for. IOR is index of reflection, I believe. So if you have it turned up, or actually down, it looks more like water, which is really cool if you're looking for that kind of look. Even if you want it on mesh, or like hair, for instance. I'm not going to preview that now, but like if you wanted glass hair, you could probably do something like that too. If you ever mess up with the like, oh no, the index of reflection is, I don't know what it was at originally, you can right click, reset to default value. Oh, actually, okay. So that didn't work, but 1.5 was what it was initially at, I can tell you. But right-clicking and reset to default value does come in handy when it does work. And you can even like just come here and get it again if you're not sure. And then you can change the color. I like mine to be like a little pinkish. But you can set it to whatever color you want. Yeah, and it'll look way better. I'm telling you, way better with an HDRI. Because if you unplug it, it'll reflect, but it'll reflect its immediate surroundings. It won't look that great. This just makes it look a ton better, especially if there's not that much in the scene. And then the render engine we're going to use is cycles. If it's on Eevee, it'll look very not good. So just make sure you're on cycles, not Eevee. And where it says device, I don't know if I often see in tutorials people are always using CPU, but CPU is very slow. It's gonna be very slow. So highly recommended GPU compute. And it's gonna go a lot faster. These are the settings I use personally. There are times when I do 1024 for the render, but if I'm looking for a fast render, especially animations, you don't have to do it that high, especially if it's not that detailed. With Roblox avatars, it tends to be very simple. Then you don't have to have it that high. But yeah, so noise threshold, honestly, I need to be honest, I have no idea what that means, but from things I've seen, it also helps make things faster. For this, I do max samples 32 in the viewport, so it loads faster, because this isn't the render, it's the preview render, so you don't need it that high. And then add denoise, make sure it's open image, and then albedo normal, and then accurate instead of fast. And then you use GPU. Always use GPU. Don't ask me what it is, because that's for another video, probably, but or someone else's video, I could say. But just know that GPU is always faster than CPU. And then the rest of the settings don't really necessarily matter. Scrolling down, filmic is the way to go with high contrast, or else it'll look very washed out. And too high of contrast maybe makes black areas or shadow areas look too black. So sometimes I just do like medium high. There's also a new mode in 4.1, which is AGX. And then you can do punchy. It makes it look dark though, but for like dramatic scenes, I can see how it would work. Medium high contrast, yeah, medium high. You can also edit the exposure and gamma. I have it edited for this scene. Don't really need it edited, but anyways, that's how you do it. And then you. Am I forgetting anything? No, I don't think I'm forgetting anything. If I'm forgetting anything, just leave it down in the comments and I'll come back to it in a, like, maybe part 2. Then you hit render image. And I don't even need to really speed it up because it's already going very fast. It's already at 43. Oh. Let me cancel it, actually. If you ever see anything in the render that's not supposed to be there, and you're like, why is this there? Go over here to the hierarchy. I'm actually glad that happened. Go over here to the hierarchy, and press the screen button. No, press the camera button. That'll prevent it from going in the render. And then you can hide it, obviously, in the viewport. So now you render the image. And it should go. But other than that, that's pretty much it. It's really easy. You can just like move it around however you like. And you can even do the glass shader on anything you'd like. There you go. It rendered in no time at all if you follow the settings I put. I hope it helped you. If not, I can maybe clarify some questions you have in the comments. I love comments. I love answering questions. And if you run into a bug, just remember that I'm using 4.1 and not an older version. So any bug you run into, it's possible was fixed in 4.1, or there was a setting you put that was in a later version that is in an older version. There's many variables and possibilities, but for the most part, that's how you do it. Bye!